Xin chào mọi người, hôm nay thì mình sẽ làm thử một bài speaking có đầy đủ 3 part và đây là một bài speaking khá là mới của tháng 10 này. Mình sẽ mô phỏng lại và các bạn có thể xem cũng như là tham khảo từ bài của mình. Mình sẽ để tất cả các câu hỏi ở trên đây. Bắt đầu với part 1. First question. I'm currently a middle school student at a public school. I have been studying at a public school ever since I can remember. Since it is a public school, we learn multiple subjects, including math, English, or literature. To me, public schools are a great place for a student to express themselves and make friends from diverse backgrounds. It is also a great place for you to learn from peers and teachers as well. Especially in my school, teachers are extremely helpful and they're always eager to help students whenever their students are in need. In my opinion, being challenged is what makes life interesting, since if you're constantly being challenged and you constantly have to learn new things and adapt to new environments, then you will be braver and you will just learn more things in life. Personally, I love being challenged. I remember a time when I was challenged to learn a new skill under 24 hours, and surprisingly, I pick up an instrument really quickly, which is the ukulele. One of the subjects that I found really challenging is math. To me, this is probably a very common answer among students, since math has been a difficult subject ever since I can remember. I remember that I have to learn really sophisticated and draw really hard geometry or shapes when I learn geometry in math. Or I also have to calculate a lot of numbers, which just makes my brain grow crazy whenever I get to learn math. And until this day, I'm still trying to improve and practice more advanced exercise to improve my calculation skill. I definitely want to experience new challenges, since like before I've mentioned, are simply what makes life interesting. Challenges to me means many things. You can learn a new skill, make a new friend, or create some projects that you like. It can also be a challenge that you have to talk to a stranger. And every day, I create new challenges for myself so that I can be as creative as possible. I spend around 5 to 6 hours every single day on the internet, since not only I spend the internet on playing or for entertainment, but I also use it for my studies and especially my project at school. Since the internet to me is like a huge dictionary where I can search anything I want and I can find a solution to problems which I am having. Well, it's common to say that young people these days use internet too much, since the internet is basically our life. And to me, I would say that it's going to be impossible for me to live without the internet, since the internet, like for example, young people usually use the internet for their studying, for playing video games, or for surfing on social media. So I do believe that young people these days use a lot on the internet. Now let's move on with part 2. So I will have a timer because part 2 is only 2 minutes. Okay. Recently, I've got a chance to visit the Temple of Literature, one of the most prestigious places in my country, which is Vietnam. The Temple of Literature is located in the center of Hanoi, and as we all know, it is considered the first university of my country, and it is also one of the most iconic and old landmarks ever. So this is it's a very old place, and it has an architectural style with red tiled roof, stone pathways, ancient wooden pillars. Also, what I love about the Temple of Literature is that there are many trees, flowers surrounded, and you will feel at ease whenever you visit the Temple of Literature. There are also many stone steles, which those stone engraved names of students who have passed a prestigious exams many, many years ago. Until this day, the Temple of Literature is used as a famous tourist attraction, and tourists from all over the world visit this place so that they can understand more about Vietnamese culture, history, and the beauty of education. To me, this is also a perfect symbol for the symbol of education as well. That's why many students often go to this place to pray for good lucks before important exams. And I feel a deep sense of pride whenever I visit the Temple of Literature. I especially love to visit this place at night because the night tour seems so magical to me. There are so many lights, and there are tour guides which explain to you how this place really is. So overall, I appreciate this place so much. Let's move on with part 3. It is extremely necessary to know about historical buildings, as historical buildings is a remarkable place that everyone should know about. And to me, I believe that every single place has its own history, its own culture, and its own remarkable landmark, which means that when people know about historical buildings, they will seem to appreciate this place so much more. For example, in my city, there are many historical buildings, such as uh, the museums, or many kinds of temples, etc. Historical buildings represent the people, the history, and the overall symbol of the city or the country. Also, to me, historical buildings are extremely necessary and all people should know about it, especially young people and the younger generation. Since nowadays, like the younger generation, they seem to enjoy going to entertainment places like the cinemas, parks, or different kinds of amusement parks. And they don't really enjoy going to historical buildings as much, which is why there should be more awareness, and more people should bring more awareness to people surrounding them that historical buildings are as important as other places. And if young people know more about historical buildings, I am sure that they will appreciate the place where they were born, and they will have a deep sense of pride. Well, I believe that the main reason why so many people want to learn about historical buildings is because they are interested. For example, the reason that the Temple of Literature is a famous tourist attraction is because tourists from around the world, they're so curious about why this place is considered the Temple of Literature, why this place is a symbol of education, and why this place produced so many famous scholars that have bring good deeds to the world. Also, the reason that many people want to learn more about historical buildings is because they want to explore in depth about their own country and their own history. As for foreigners, they believe that the more they explore, like the more knowledge they will gain. And those are all the reasons why I believe that many people want to learn more about historical buildings. So I guess that's all the 3 parts. Of course, in the real IELTS test, the examiners will ask you more questions, but those are just the main question for today. So I guess I'll see you around.